Now I swim. Monsters gone. Swim. Free. Swim. Forever. Monsters crawl the ocean floor. Better to die on the beach.
No one's ever regretted having extra help in a fight. I'll guarantee you that.
you holding up?
Not in any mood to talk about it.
What's this? I found something.
It's just that I wanted. It's just that all my things were. It's just that they took everything. It's just that it was mine. It's just that I wanted my things. My gold and my shirt. It's just that I don't know what I did wrong. It's just that we had a nice time. It's just that I got angry. It's just that I got angry and hot-headed. It's just that I called a flame. It's just that I didn't mean it. It's just that they left me here. It's just that I only wanted my things back. It's just that I didn't mean any harm. I paid fair and square. It's just that they left me here.
Oh, God.
Wanting what? Aye, tending and have been goodly doing.
Isn't it time for another snack?
by sorcerers, a most vile incident. Valiant warrior against the void.
I won't surrender. I'm going to send you to be cured, sorcerer.
The spirit looks at its own corpse, then at you. Its horrified eyes plead with you for answers. All goes black the moment your hand reaches the ghostly Magister. You see nothing, hear nothing, for your senses are overwhelmed by the pain of razors slicing through your flesh. One chunk of meat after another is ripped from you until there's only organ and entrail remaining. Yet you still feel tooth and claw as they skate across your bones, and the pain is released. You touch your arms, your belly, your head, relieved that you are still intact. Once Magister, now lost soul. He swivels his head, getting his bearings. He sees you and moves to speak, but no sound emerges. The stench of the Magister's corpse dissipates. It's replaced with another scent, equally noxious, breath. The stink fills you, then pauses, then fills you again. Then the roar comes. Your skull rattles as the mouth of this breath creature engulfs your face. The foul odor is pushed from your lungs by a torrent of blood, then replaced by a gust of fresh air. You take a cleansing breath and look to the unnerved spirit. He points his forefinger at his chest, then back at you.
I swear, I should have expected nothing less. They wander across a tragedy, and how do they spend their time? Gawking at the dead like they're nothing more than a sack of cloth and flesh to be looted. Bloody parasite. Wait, can you see me? Elves, teeth. How'd you manage that?
The dwarf's eyes narrow, and he squares his shoulders. His hand seems to instinctively drop to his waist.
That a fact. And here I thought our darling Bishop Alexander was the only one. So God-woken are powerful, eh? Powerful enough to control minds? To force brothers to draw steel against each other?
The dwarf nods grimly. After a long moment, he swallows and starts to speak.
We were doing some work round these parts. Smuggling, stealing, removing the odd witness. You know, bread and butter stuff. We were sitting here, eating, drinking, telling tales. When some of the lads, their eyes turned black as pitch. Next thing I know, my best mate's buried his dagger in my gut. And there's void woken everywhere you look. Them that didn't die were carried off to the cave. Might be I was the lucky one, lying there, bleeding out. Heh. Was the day I'd have to cut you just for asking. Don't suppose it makes much of a difference now. The cave was our base, where we wrecked, smuggled and stored the loot. The entrance is through the ruins over yonder, for all the good it'll do you. Might be swarming with void woken by now. Huh. Kind words. But there ain't none that'll undo what we saw. Most we can hope for now is some peace in the Hall of Echoes.
There's food, bedding, and ash in here. Looks like someone cleared out of this nook in a hurry.
This ain't right. I was on duty in the cave. I was on patrol and I was alive. This ain't right. None of this is right.
The spirit traces runes in the air. You recognize the gesture. It's the same one you perform when gifting others with your blessing. Your blessing leaves you as a stream and returns to you as a river. You see through the woman's eyes. You feel the discomfort of a source collar as you tug at it. Then, a clatter and a shriek. A winged voidwoken has grasped you in its talons. It takes you to the air as you flail impotently. The voidwoken continues its journey for hours, perhaps days. You watch as familiar land and sea pass under you until the creature slows. The talons open, first air and wind, then a thud. Blackness. Light. You peer through the fog to see two dwarves, eyes as black as coals. They are dragging you through grass and stone. Perfect bait. The master will be pleased, drones one of them. The blessing fades. The spirit's hands are stilled. She looks to the sky, searching, then lowers...
So, I can't remember. I can't remember why. I can't remember who.
There was something in the ground. Back in the cave,
The dwarf bangs his palm against his head.
Damn it! I can't think. I can't remember.
The dwarf rocks back and forth, staring at nothing.
That can't have been real. Those monsters bursting out from the ground, it was just a dream. It had to be a dream. Getting the job done where I couldn't. I'm grateful for you. I'm due some rest. May your God bless your kin and their kin.
The spirit tugs and tugs at the source collar around his neck, though it budges not an inch.
We couldn't. I couldn't. Is it really our fault? The void woken.
He gives you a look full of hope, then remembers the collar round his neck and slumps forward, letting his hands hang heavy by his sides. A dwarven spirit cowers on the ground, trapped in the fear of her final moments.
No, please! Help! Someone! Help!
With growing horror, she turns her focus on something unseen, looming high above her. No! He drops the halberd and bolts behind some nearby rocks.
Divine, save me! I don't want to die, please! I don't want to die! I don't want to die!
The spirit screams and screams as something unseen tears into him. A frantic dwarf knocks an arrow to a phantom bow. He lets it fly at some towering, invisible horror, visible only in his mind's eye. He reaches for another arrow.
Keep firing, damn you! He has to have a weak spot. He has to!
The spirit looses the arrow. It evaporates into nothing against your hand. No pain, though a shiver runs up your arm. He drops his bow and yanks his sword from its sheath.
Come on, you filth!
Let's see what your insides look like.
The spirit is blind to you. He grips his sword tightly. Creeping fear slowly fills his dead eyes. Her gaze falls on you, a glimmer of awareness. She raises her hand as a greeting, or as a warning. The spirit takes a deep breath and bellows silently. A distant cry echoes along the cavern.
Run!
What are you doing? They're close. I can feel them. Run. For the love of the Seven, run. There's no time. Run, you idiot. Run!
The ghost turns to you, her finger urgently pointing towards something unseen. Silent lips move, issuing an urgent, unheard plea. Your hands merge together, your world twisting. Looking down, you see you're holding a barrel marked with a fatal warning. Death. A cart contains many barrels more, recovered from a wrecked ship. The room is filled with voices, cracking jokes and swearing oaths as you go about unloading the cart. But somewhere, in the hum of voices, one cuts through the rest. Stop, it hisses. Do your duty. You lift up the death fog, and, fighting against every step, you walk back to the cart. You pass a dwarf, struggling against the voice and winning, but you crack his skull with a barrel in your hands. One by one, the barrels are loaded again, and the cart departs. As it trundles out of the cave, the voice returns, "Come, come to me." And you feel your feet carrying you into the cavern's darkness. The ghost stares down at his broken, twisted body, a look of glum resignation on his face.
It ain't a pretty way to go, mind you. Could be a damn sight better than whatever Lohar would have done if he'd got his hands on us. Mind control or no, he'll be livid when he finds out what we did.
I'm so sorry. I didn't want to hurt you. I didn't want to hurt anyone. But he made me. That voice, he made me. I let him out of the vault. I killed anyone that got in the way. And then I sat here as he gibbered about needing to complete his bloody Mordecai. Damn divino. Some ancient ritual, he said. It gave him the power to twist our minds, to turn us into his puppets. And when he was strong enough, it turned him into... that. He thought it was a reward. Kept saying how blessed he was. What madness.
The spirit hovers before you. It looks into your eyes and reaches out a hand of smoke and gossamer, silently begging you to take it. You feel the boards creak under your boots. The smell of salt and pitch fills your nose. You check the knots securing your cargo, hands moving over rough rope in the darkness. There's a shout from above decks, and then the world turns upside down. You're pitched violently sideways as the planks around you rip apart and black water floods in. You kick and thrash, desperately trying to reach the door to the deck above, but the current hurls you back, dashing you against boxes and broken planks. As your vision fades to black, you see the walls shudder as the peacemaker snaps in two. You awake to the flicker of torchlight and the sound of voices. Here, crack this and open. With locks like these, there'll be something good inside. You hear the snap of a latch being broken and a long, low whistle. Get word to Lohar. The Reds are shipping death fog. Send your fastest runner. Go! You lie still for a minute, until you feel a rough kick to the ribs. Thought I saw a twitch, says the dwarf, looming over you. Well now, ain't you an unfortunate little flounder, she growls before clamping a hand across your mouth and nose. Sorry, hun, no witnesses allowed. You kick and struggle weakly, desperately trying to catch a breath, but the dwarf's grip is iron. As your vision starts to swim, you see other dwarves moving in the torchlight, hauling your cargo off the ship. You give one last kick and then... darkness. Stepping back from the spirit, the feeling of her panic starts to slowly fade from your mind.
Even dead, I don't get no peace. You need something. What's it look like? Either there were a void-woken attack, or this is the most unfortunate dinner party you ever did see. Now shove off. I've got an afterlife to enjoy, and your jabbering ain't making it easy. Walk on, Bones, I got nothing to say to you.
The dwarf pulls a dagger with shocking dexterity and reflexively swings at your gut. Thankfully, the ephemeral blade passes right through you. With a rancid look, the dwarf pockets the knife. As he does so, you see an elaborate seal on the handle. Through gritted teeth, the dwarf growls.
We're done here.
Don't worry about it, says Lohar. Quietest work around, says Lohar. Well, I don't see him here, cold as the stone he's lying on. It will be fine, my arse. And here I was, the fool, believing him.
The ghost swings a foot to kick its old body in frustration, but the boot sails straight through her corpse.
Because it's his fault. If not for him, I'd still be sitting there, wine in hand, happy as Larry. But no, he knew best. He wanted the death fog destroyed. That's why we were to make sure it got into the right hands. Our hands! I even stood guard of Mordus when he were doing nothing but the Queen's bidding. No wonder we came to this. This is what I deserve for following the orders of a leader with the spine of a sponge. Thank Duna Her Majesty has more steel in her belly than that coward. You're a little tool to be asking questions like that. Her Majesty is trying to do what's best for the dwarf people. And there's not a thing more you need to know.
The spirit twists and turns in front of you. It looks lost. It looks scared. It looks desperate. As your hand passes through the ghost, you feel its fear flow into you. You feel its confusion. You feel hands on the hard stone, ripped skin where the monster grabbed you. You're surrounded by darkness. You hunker back on your heels, rocking gently. You reach down to steady yourself and feel something slick on the floor. There's liquid on the ground. It's wet. It's warm. Oh gods, you pray it's not blood. You summon your magic and a tiny light flickers. You're kneeling in a clear pool of liquid. It isn't blood. You look up into dozens of eyes glittering in the dark. A long drip of saliva falls from the shadows. It isn't blood. You're flung from the vision, screaming ringing in your ears. Back in your own body, you double over, trying not to retch.
Hatchlings! They ate us! Alive! They ate us all! I watched them swallow bodies and then swallow souls. They fed on our flesh and our souls. I did not think they would ever be stopped. I did not think they could ever be stopped. I would have said you had lost your mind, but...
She looks around the chamber, taking in the sea of cracked, broken eggs and dead Voidwoken.
But perhaps there is hope.
The dwarf sways in front of you. His eyes are unfocused, and he seems to be mumbling something to himself.
84 tankards of beer in a cave, 84 tankards of beer. Pick one up, tip back your cup. 80.
The ghost grasps at the handle of his mug and stares in confusion as his hand passes right through it.
4 tankards of beer. Oh no, that ain't right. Hey, what? I don't know what you mean. I'm just trying to get a grip is all. Just wanted one last tipple before I'm back on duty. I'll be down guarding Mordus. Gets cold down in that vault. Figured a drink or two to guard against the chill wouldn't hurt, eh? Hiding? Ha! He ran to that vault like a rat with his what's it on fire? Tail! It's underneath his office, ain't no way out. We just sealed him in and posted a guard. And once Lohar gets here, he'll deal with him. Won't be pretty, neither. Is that fact? Well, now, that's a fine thing.
The ghost tries to pick up his mug again, fumbles, and stares at it in confusion.
Slippery little devil, ain't ya?
Dead and alive. The little ones, once they burst out of their eggs, they ate me screaming. I don't understand. Why did this happen? Why wasn't the Divine here to save me? Too little, too late. I'm already dead, and Rivellon's been on its own for too long now.
The spirit stares at you, through you.
Give Veronica's advice right now.
When she opens her mouth to speak, her voice seems to drift to you from far away, as if half-dreamed.
We keep the shipments here. That's what's meant for ships. It ends up in our carts, trundling away. barrels rolling all the way to our... And when they get there, the air will turn to screams. Dying, choking screams. It wafts on the wind. The black ring choked. Arcs will choke. They will all choke. Mordus?
A dreamy smile spreads across her face.
You don't look for Mordus.
She comes back to herself for the first time and looks you in the eye.
Mordus looks for you.
Leave me to work in peace. What I wouldn't give for Hanni's advice right now.
Back so soon? I said get rid of him! Kill him! Kill him! Now! Traitor!
He smirks as he raises
Keep it up, puny fleshbag! Your blows mean nothing to me!
Quackers, quackers!
The spirit peers up at you intently, an obsessive focus clear in her manic eyes.
Trolls! Do you know a fascinating thing about trolls? I know all of them. I can tell you anything you need to know about trolls. My life's work has been documenting them. My life's work! Almost every single troll I encountered in my life has one elemental weakness that puts a halt to their uncanny regenerative abilities. Imagine! Oh, fascinating, isn't it? But of course, every specimen has their own quirks, their own petty foibles. And I pushed my curiosity too far with one particularly huge and crimson troll. But it's perfect. Now I can observe him in total safety.
Puss-crusted rat! Cack-sniffing whelp! Where you hiding, Daddy's boy? Where you hiding?
The spirit notices his eviscerated corpse, caked in dirt and laced with maggots, and lets out a spine-curling howl.
Snake crawled round a pile of filth, puddle of sick dog's piss. My apprentice! I loved him as my own! Spoiled, irreverent, arrogant, treacherous pustule! I loved him as my own! I want his head in my hands! I want his head in the dirt, sticky with worms, picked to the bones by buzzards! Bring it to me! Bring it to me! Head of the dog, Garvin! Garvin! Find him. Feel his heart. Squeeze it dry. Squeeze it dead. Bring the head. Bring the head!